Hey YouTube, we're going to get back on the Bandsaw Vise shoe for my Ellis bandsaw. There is a drawing linked down below. The first drawing is the drawing of the Vise, I guess you call it the Vise shoe, as it stands after our little cleanup and modification. And the second drawing is the drawing of the cuts we're getting ready to make here. We're going to make a Vise shoe that slips down over the factory Vise shoe. Here's the factory stop. We're going to make a Vise shoe that slips down over here and grabs a hold of the Vise, of this piece, and then a bolt that will come through here from the back through the front. We'll press against and hold it tight in there, and then we'll be able to have an accessory shoe that will allow us to move the Vise away from the work, so that we have a little easier time positioning the workpiece when it's necessary. And the way we're going to cut this, the groove we're going to cut a groove down each side. It's a 1/4 inch wide and a 1/4 inch deep, and a 1/4 inch from the face or so, close to it. And we're going to do it here on the mill. We're getting set up for a horizontal cut. I've got the arbor. Let me see if you can see that. You can't? Well, you can. You can see that. Let's turn over here. So I've got the arbor, 1.25 inch arbor in the mill, mounted in there, tightened up with the drawbar on the back. I've got spacers that have spaced it out a suitable amount. I removed the cutter that was on there, and oh, here it is. Here's the cutter we're going to use. It's a 6-inch diameter, 1/4 inch cutter. It's a new old stock piece. This is made by Niagara, who, by the way, is no longer in this business, no longer making milling cutters. They sold that piece of their business to Keo. So if you need milling cutters, you know where to go. But this is the cutter we're going to use. So we're going to go ahead and get this mounted up on the arbor here. Alright, we're moved in here close. I'll move this out. See, there's a key right here that engages the cutter. And then we got a spacer that engages the cutter, and then I'm going to slide the running bushing on, which is sitting here, and then we'll get the nut that holds all this in place. Where's my wrench? Mental note: try not to hit the camera with the wrench. Alright. I need to move the arbor support back. Alright. And then snug those bolts up. Alright. Okay, so we are milling cutters in place, and it's time to get the workpiece mounted in the chuck. I'm going to have to do this kind of 2 stages, one side at a time. So I'm going to secure this in the vise. Alright. Tap it down here a little bit. Snug it up. Now, I'm going to have to make one cut from this side of the vise, and then one cut from this side of the vise, because of this welded on piece here that I can't obviously remove. So I've got it snugged up in the vise there, and we're going to go ahead and position the cutter a 1/4 inch from the front face. Raising the table up there. So then I can just take a little piece of key stock here, put it on the cutter, and get it just lined up, just like that. There we go. Alrighty, we got the machine going here. We've got to move the cutter out. We've got to move the workpiece out in this direction, so then we can come back and cut in a conventional manner. We're not climb milling. And make sure that the table is set up for conventional. Alright. Let me cut that off here real quick. I ran out of memory, don't know where that happened, but I brought the workpiece up to the workpiece. I moved the workpiece back to get my proper 1/4 inch spacing from the face. I brought my workpiece up so it just kisses the cutter. I zeroed my dial here. Lock my Y. And now I'm going to bring my workpiece up 1/4 inch. We're going to do the whole cut one pass there. One red and alright. Alrighty. Let's try to clean up as much of the mess as we can here. Now we just need to move the workpiece over to the other side of the vise. So I need to fire it up and bring the vise back over this way, and then we'll make the cut on the other side. We won't change any of our settings, and everything will be lined up correctly. Let me get it swapped over here. Alright, we got the workpiece swapped over on the other side of the vise. We're still a 1/4 inch from the fixed jaw. We're still a 1/4 inch down. Once the workpiece is flopped over, tapped it down with the handy lead mallet, and now we're going to fire it up and start our next cut. Back and unload the part. All right, do a little clean up there. Let's move back on over to the bench. Okay, guys, gals, aliens from Mars, we got our workpiece. I'm using the workpiece here, 1/4 inch. I think it actually got a little bit deeper than 1/4, but that's no big deal. That will not affect the functionality at all. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw up the piece that's going to slide down on here. As I discussed, I want a piece that slides down on, locks with a bolt through the back, but I want it to be wider on this side. I could do it both sides, but basically I just want it to be wider on this side so that I can move the vise away from the workpiece when I'm trying to clamp small or oddly sized, oddly shaped workpieces up close to the band, up close to the blade itself. It's really difficult to do right here. So let me go to the computer and sketch something up, and I'll be back. Not in real time, obviously, but in YouTube time. So give me just a minute. All right, I'm back. Done a little drawing. Check out the 3rd drawing link below, Dropbox link, and this will show you this drawing that I'm holding here. The overall size of this piece is 4.5 inches wide, 6 inches long, and 1.5 inches thick. So what I have here is a piece of 1.5 inch cold rolled, it looks like. Doesn't have much scale on it. It might be hot rolled, but it is 1.5 inches, and it's about 8 inches wide and about 8 inch square here. So first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put our piece here back together in the meantime, so I can get this in the bandsaw and I can go ahead and cut this down to size, and we can get this in the milling machine and start making some cuts. back in here. Get this back over in the bandsaw and slice a substantial slab off this thing. There you go. Cut number one. Now we need to go mark it off and cut it to length. All we got with this little baby marked off to length. I'm cutting it a little long, give me plenty to clean up with. Side edge to there. Alright. This is Linux, I believe it's a 4 to 6 variable pitch Linux bimetal. I don't think you can buy a better bandsaw blade than Linux. Okay, we got our block cut to rough size here. We're oversized on all of our outside dimensions here. This edge from the sheet rolling process has a little, bulge in it, so we need to square these edges up and get this thing down to our proper 4.5 inch width and 6 inch length. So we're going to slap it in the shaper, and we're going to clean up these edges real quick that way. So let's go. Alright, we made our first pass in the shaper, and as you can see here, didn't quite clean up the whole edge. So, and I did that pass with a really aggressive feed. So I'm going to slow the feed down, feed it down a little bit, and then take a final pass over here, and then we're going to swap it over the other side and clean it up to our 4.5 inches finished width. Alright, now we're going to swap it around and do the other side to width. Alright, we've got our block squared up. Here's our drawing from this is the 4.5 inch dimension here, looking down on the top, or the bottom I guess you could say. We are cleaned up here 4.5 this way. We're still a little long, which is fine. That'll probably clean up in the process. This detail view of the cross section of what I got to cut out here shows I got to cut a big piece, 258 or so by a 1/2 inch. So got to slab a big chunk of metal out of there. So we're going to go ahead and bring this over to the big mill and get it set up, and we're going to mark off here, and then we're going to get it set up, and we're going to go from there. Alright, took my calipers here, locked off my dimension, and isn't a real critical dimension by any means. So just going to scribe that into the workpiece. I can see that pretty well. So I've got to cut this dimension over here down a half an inch to start. So let's get set up in the mill, start making some chips. Alright, we're entering the cut. We're cutting to full depth. This is our ½ inch dimension, and then we're just going to work our way out. I'll have to obviously raise it up that last little piece. That awful sound in the background is my cats fighting. Alright, that is the end of that cut there. Let's go look at the plans and figure out what we need to do next. Alright, so we finished this cut. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this cutter over and we're going to touch off against this face. Then we're going to space out 3/8 of an inch. Then we're going to cut down to our finished depth. And we're going to cut that 1.5 inch size. So we'll make one full width cut to full depth, and then we'll back up a ½ inch, and we'll make another cut to full depth, and then that 1.5 inch cut will be finished. And then the next step will be to cut the T-slot sides, cut the grooves here to engage the existing vise block. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the cutter over. And you have to kind of be careful here because there's a lot of advantage. Okay. I'm going to fire up the machine. Let's start the spindle. Let's move it over until we just touch. Pretty sure that's it. So we're going to zero the dial. And then we're going to come back 3/8 of an inch. Taking one cut. This is 1 inch wide, ½ inch deep cut. Now we're going to back the cutter up a half inch, and we're going to finish this cut. And one more pass. So back it up 2 turns. Whoop. Let unlock it. Let unlock it first. One turn. 2. Knock it back. All right. It's fired up. Get back moving. See you in a few minutes.